Okay, so this one, this lockdown training session is going to be on rising trot. Now I know most people can do rising trot, there's all different, again, videos out there. This is just my theories on it, what I encourage people to do. Okay, so rising trot is very much a tool. Yes, it's a tool to get off the horse's back and let them swing freely and so forth. But you can learn to use that rising trot to better help you with your training. You can do lateral exercises in rising trot, you can help teach the horse to shorten and lengthen its stride in rising trot, and you can assess your horse's asymmetry through their back and their hind leg steps in rising trot. So we'll get to that just in a minute. The first main things is, even though we're rising, we still have to keep our front core quite firm, okay? Particularly when you go up, you keep your back straight, and as you come down, the one thing you don't do is fold in your front core. So I did see a video of someone doing a rising trot the other day, and they went up fine. As they came down and sat, they folded there a little bit. And you can actually see them get a little bit out of balance with the horse. They lost their balance in their legs, they then had to stiffen something, simply because when they sat, they ever so slightly folded there. So when we sit, we keep this firm, as the same as what we would do for our sitting trot and our canter, etc. We still ride the horse with our lower back. Okay? We don't super arch. You have to go forward when you rise, because you have to come forward over your feet. Okay? We still keep the balance in the ball of our feet, but we keep our core quite firm. All right? We don't get loose back here, and we don't get loose in the front core. All right? When you come down for your sit in part of the rising trot, you haven't got time to sit in the saddle and sink down, because then you have to thrust back off the horse's back to go back up again, which loses the benefits of rising trot, which is to stay light on the horse's back. Okay? When you rise, when you come back down in your sit, you only have time to touch the saddle and go back up again. Do not take the weight out of your feet. Keep the balance and the weight in your feet. Touch the saddle and go back up again. Okay? In the timing of the rising trot, you really can only kick when you sit. Alright, so the leg comes in and bumps against the horse when you sit, so that's to help you with your timing and such. So that leads me to the next point, which is using your rising trot to train things like lateral exercises, shoulder ins, leg heels, half passes. You don't have to sit, but what is a good idea is to do the timing so that you're sitting at the point when the hind leg you want to influence is coming up. So this determines which diagonal you use. All right, so if I'm doing leg yield and I'm pushing the horse away from my left leg, I'm actually going to sit when the horse's left foreleg is on the ground, because that's the moment when the left hind leg is coming up, and that's the leg I want to push across. This will make a lot more sense when I'm actually on the horse and you actually see it happen. So determining whether I'm going to use the inside diagonal or the outside diagonal depends on the lateral step that I want the horse to take. Okay, so I'm going to assess with my diagonals. I'm not always going to be on the inside one, or always on the outside one, always on the correct diagonal. For me, it's either inside or outside. My diagonals are a tool, and I can use those diagonals by making sure that I've got very good balance in my rising trot, keep my body firm, so that I can utilise that moment when I come down and touch the saddle to sit, to use my leg to actually ask the horse to do something, to step a different direction, to step more with the hind leg. The last point that we can use our diagonals for in our rising trot is to assess the horse's asymmetry. Okay, a lot of horses, especially young horses, they're a little bit one-sided. They'll tend to come down early with one hind foot more than the other. So this is why you can be on a circle with your rising trot, and you might change diagonal and go, oh, the horse is uncomfortable, I'm on my inside diagonal. Okay, a horse that's really balanced and travels with good symmetry with the back legs, you can't really tell which diagonal you're on, because they feel exactly the same. A well-balanced horse that moves well, they don't really care which diagonal you're on. Okay, so your diagonals are a tool. So set your horse up. You can set your horse up on a circle and go around and change your diagonal several times on that circle and feel, do they feel the same? Do they feel different? If they feel different, we have to gradually adjust that trot till we get to the point where the diagonals feel the same. Okay, so if we've got a horse that's taking one step slightly shorter with the back leg, we can't drive that back leg up to meet the other one. We've actually got to bring the longer leg back to meet the shorter leg. That balances the muscles up, then we can gradually build the strength and the symmetry from there. Okay, so I use my diagonals to do that. That actually helps me feel when I've got a horse that they might even be just slightly twisting a hip one way. When they go, they might actually twist a hip slightly as they shift that hind leg. Your diagonals in your rising trot let you feel this and let you use it. So changing on diagonals on a straight line, changing them on circles to assess your horse and feel, have you got them as symmetrical through the way they travel as you can, especially for the trot. You get the trot symmetrical and you'll start to get that'll straighten up the horse for the walk and the canter as well. Okay? So there's a few things we're actually going to have a look at when we get on the horse. Alright, so let's get going. Welcome back. This is going to be our written section on doing rising trot, and I've changed horses a bit today, so I thought for the trot work and the trot demos I'd use a horse that's got a much bigger and more obvious trot, as opposed to cheating and doing it on Gabby, who's got a trot that's super smooth. So we'll do this by basically getting him going. With your rising trot, again, like we mentioned, we're keeping that upper core nice and firm and strong, staying strong up through here, staying supple through your lower back, and the main thing is that when you sit, number one, you don't sink into the saddle, and number two, you don't fold in your way. So we're going to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. I decided when my boy decided to keep out to the trot. Haven't done a lot of warm up, but that's okay. Okay, so my contact with my arms, and in particular in doing rising trot, this is where you do need that incredibly supple elbow, because my elbow is going to have to absorb my body movement. Alright? So, let's get his trot a little bit bigger. I'm going to balance on the ball of my feet. So, things I'm not going to do is if I sat and folded my weight, so let's do that now. So I'm going to sit and go, no. Don't fold here. Okay? Push that out. Keep that nice and straight. It doesn't fold when you sit down in the saddle. Alright, I'm going to do it wrong again. So, as I touch the saddle, you see how I start to flop a little bit, which is going to throw his rhythm off, and it's going to reduce the effectiveness that I have to use my rising trot to do a lot more with the horse. Things diagonals I do in direction. Then do it wrong again. So I'm going to sit and fold, sit and fold, sit and fold. I'm going to keep that quite strong. Keep it up. The bigger I make his trot, I can't go higher because I'm going to run out of room with my legs. But I can fold myself up there if I need to absorb the level of his movement. So the other thing that I sometimes see is done wrong is they sit and they push. Don't push into the saddle. So it's like you're trying to say, push the horse forward with the sit. I don't know do that. I want to take my horse forward with my rise. And if I often don't have my heels really low or anything, my foot for the most part is pretty level. I'm hoping it's level, feels level. So I'm going to take my horse forward with my rise. Not push him forward. That's really hard work, I'm not going to keep doing that. Okay, so I'm going to take him forward with my rise. So that I know that at the moment I'm sitting when the outside foreleg touches the ground, so that's when the outside hind leg is coming up into the air. So if I wanted this horse to do a leg heel from left to right, that's the diagonal that I'd use, and each time I sat, I'm focusing on tapping across, and I'm taking them over. Then I'm going to place diagonals to the neck. And now I'm going to leg heel it from right to left. Each time I sit, I know I'm sitting when the inside right hind leg is in the air. That gives me my timing to encourage him to reach the hind leg across. Let's do it from left to right again, change diagonal. I'm going to sit and say over, 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 and over, left again. And over, over. But I'm not sitting heavy, I'm not trying to push him with my seat. I'm just using it as the timing, tapping with my leg to ask him to go across. Boy. Same applies if you're doing shoulder in. If I'm going to go shoulder in down the track, I need to sit when the inside hind leg is coming up, which means I'm actually going to use my inside diagonal. So at the moment I'm sitting when the inside foreleg touches the ground. That's the moment when the inside hind leg is coming up. So we're going to do a little shoulder in and rising trot down the side. So I'm sitting, so that moment I'm sitting, I'm going to tuck it up with my inside leg, do a light half off with an outside range. Carry up with shoulder in, but that's okay. Like I said, you can do a long in. So we're going to shoulder in again. Each time I sit, sitting when the inside hind leg is coming up, that's the moment when I'm going to coordinate my leg aid and my rein aid. So it makes it quite easy. So then if I wanted to go from that shoulder in to a leg yield or a half pause or twink diagonal, I do a little half pass, pick when the outside hind leg and change my diagonal. So I'm going to come down the side and shoulder in. So I'm going to change my diagonal back to the inside. And each time I sit, I'm going to push him up in a bit of shoulder in. So it's really good, really nice way of helping a young horse learn how to get those lateral steps a little bit without putting the pressure on him of actually sitting the entire time. Alright, the other thing we talked about a bit in the theory section was using your diagonals to help assess the symmetry in your horse's hind leg step. So if I put him on a circle, so start on the outside diagonal, and I'm going to push the trot forward a little bit. Feel how that is. Now I'm going to sit, change my diagonal. This horse is actually quite even both sides. There's not a lot of difference in feel. He doesn't have any twist. He's not pushing me. He's not twisting me. It's no less comfortable being on the inside diagonal than the outside diagonal, and it shouldn't be. So we're going to change direction and do that on the other side. Alright, so outside diagonal feels okay. Sit two. And he feels very even. Again, there's no twist to me. No change. So if one of those felt very different from the other, what I would do is gradually bring his trot back a little bit shorter and then keep changing them until they felt the same. Once I've got them to the point where they're the same, then I'll push them forward a little bit, test my diagonal again, until I find, part of the experiment, till I find the point where those strides go slightly uneven again. So then I can come back to the even section, build his strength in that. So there are just a few ways of using your rising trot aid and your rising trot skill and getting better at it. Don't just treat it as a way of not having to do sit. You can really use it on the horse quite a lot, especially on a horse that's got he's got quite a big trot. He tends to throw me out of the saddle just a little bit. So as a way of helping him keep his back a little bit softer. Let him stretch. Good boy. Okay? So hope you find that a little bit useful.